Now rocking with the hottest business and spirituality podcast show, the Transform You Live Show, hosted by Marcus Hart and Paul Greaves. This is the only place where you can get on your own personal transformation journey, drawn from personal stories, books, and much, much more. For more information, visit transformubroadcast.com. That's transform the letter U broadcast.com. Only on the Transform You Media Network. Now here's your host. Hey, my good people out there in podcast world, cyber world, and those who are stumbling across this wonderful podcast. And you know how you got here, but don't remember it. But nonetheless, you are here. We appreciate you. We send our love and our good tidings your way. I'm your host, and my good trusty co-host is back once again. Paul Greaves joining us all the way from London. How's it going, Paul?
Marcus, it's great to be back. I'm so happy and so excited. And yeah, I'm doing very well. And how are you?
I'm doing outstanding. It's quite the honor to be able to join you again and be able to just hit this virtual stage with you to give our wonderful audience some good information here today. Um, and as always, shout out to our sponsors, North Bay Freight, for all that they do, Buck Wild T-shirts, and also Everyone Wins Foundation. You guys will hear about that later, but we want to get you guys to a very important topic at hand. I think one that's going to help you guys and maybe alleviate, maybe some of the woes you may be having about this world that we all live in. Sometimes we have to interact with people, and sometimes we like the interaction, sometimes we don't, and sometimes there's just people in our lives that we just cannot avoid. And when we don't want to be a judge of a character, definitely, and we're not here to be a judge of soul at all. But it is quite infectious sometimes, and quite the contingent when you can sense that, like, there's a bit of selfishness that we just don't like, that we do not like to feel within ourselves, like, hey, uh, is it me, or am I starting to feel a bit more absorbed, because there's a lot of people around me in my circle that it's been, they just been me, they've been taking that me and team. they've been taking it out of the team a lot. People are really more me driven, and it's all about me and what can me get. And if it's not all about me, then hey, get out of my way. And I think we're doing the world this service, and we're doing those who don't want to be a part of it the service as well. So Paul, what are your initial thoughts? Just hearing that. Have you ever been around someone who you feel was selfish, and then you find yourself kind of blindly walking that same path of being a selfish person and
Yeah,
not even realize it?
no, Marcus, you're so right there. You get to those kind of positions in life where you may be around people or friends or family who are kind of these types of people who are selfish and just
Yeah.
kind of suck up all that positive energy and kind of just release that negativity around to everyone. And before you know it, you're kind of feeling that same kind of negativity and getting really down and selfish and just thinking about yourself. So yeah, totally, I can see where you're coming from in this one. And it's just you can slowly walk into it without even realizing, and then suddenly you're in that same environment, giving off that kind of, as I said, that negative kind of emotions to other people, which is not what we want to do. And as you mentioned, we're not judging people. We're not saying how other people should feel. I think as we spoke on the flip side here of this episode, we can really reflect on ourselves and see what we can do, how we can deal with this kind of negative, selfish energy, and try and create something positive from it.
Yeah. And what you said, that last part, about the importance of like seeing what we can do to make a positive out of it. I think sometimes, in the midst of our misery, in the midst of our suffering, we can't see a way to create a positive out of it. We don't, because like, there's so much negativity, coming our way, and it's like in karate, you got to learn how to block, but when it coming at you so fast, you get overwhelmed. It's like you got all these hands in front of you, and so you can't see the light. It's light there, but it's just peering. But if you can maybe even just duck down a little bit more, you may be seeing it peering right there, and you might have to walk a little bit closer to the light.
No, you're right there, Marcus. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's so hard to kind of see that light sometimes. And I don't know what it is inside of us that kind of just you see that little bit of light, and you think to yourself, actually, maybe I shouldn't keep going this way, and maybe I need to change the way I'm thinking. But it can be so difficult when you're around these types of people to see that kind of positive energy in front of you, because you've got that negative kind of stench there.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta, uh, say to yourself too that like, hey, you know what? Uh, although, and this is what I eventually did. What I was eventually able to come up with, when I was going through, a really tough time, and just recently here. I I say, you know what? I'm actually, I'm going to have some acceptance, for where I'm at right now. Okay, I'm going to have some acceptance for, just, um, for the people being who they are, and just realizing that, like, hey, there's nothing I can do, to change someone else. I I am literally, who I am, and I know what my values are, and s- but but I cannot allow some of those bad traits, some of those negative traits to enter into my hemisphere of, of values, and of positivity that, keeps me feeling good. And so you got to be able to accept, where it is right now, where you are right now, where those individuals are right now, to be able to break it, break the endless cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful stuff there. And it's just so hard to kind of get to that point where you just need to just block everything else out and just concentrate on yourself, and really get through those moments where you are you're feeling down yourself, you don't see any way out really. And to be able to just concentrate on yourself and realize that these people are the way they are, and you can't change them. It's not worth trying to wasting your energy on trying to change people. If you can accept that and just try and use that in a more positive way, I think that's the key there. I'm not too sure, but I think that could possibly be one of them.
Well, you're on the right track, Paul. And that is the key. And so once you lock into that, what you will find, you'll find that there's actually things that, like, you truly do, love and enjoy, that are more worthwhile, into investing in. You're not going to allow yourself to, invest in some of these things that, like, are just not going to serve you. And and then, uh, of course, which is the next part of, our our conversation here, is like, okay, now that I see that, like, I'm filling myself up, you know do I have a little bit that I can give to someone who got it worse off? You know, because, like, a lot of times, yes, we preach all the time about, like, the importance of, like, personal growth, self improvement, but, as we, like, are filling our buckets up, do we got a little bit of water to give to someone who truly do have it worse off, rather than these selfish people who has been in front of our faces all of the time?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And you first started talking about kind of investing in yourself, and doing these things that are good for you. But yeah, I suppose if you take it to the next level, then you are looking outside at people who are, less fortunate than you are, and what can we do to help these other people who are in need? And this might be the time where they're really in need, and if you've got something you can give someone which is really going to help them in their moments of need, I think that's something that's really powerful, and that will ultimately help you in the long run, but it could help them in the short term as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a quick break real quickly, and I'll bring Paul back in a second. But let's talk about our sponsor for a second. Our sponsor, Everyone Wins. They actually doing something that's very, great for charities and for those who love donating to charities. So if you one of those individuals that just love giving and you can't stop giving enough, but like you don't know where your money is going to because like it's like, man, this system's so broken. We live in a broken society, and we just know that like sometimes this corruption can be just run rapid. But what Everyone Wins has done, they have developed a way where you can download a gaming app that they have developed. They have developed, and you don't even have to pay any money. Even if you don't have any money to donate, you can just simply play to donate. So all your countless hours of playing these games, these they don't the more you play, the more they donate to these charities that are all a part of the platform, and the money gets itemized. So it gets, in other words, the money's going to where it's needed. So the way to visit that and find out more about that is everyonewins.org. So everyone, the number one wins.org. So they are our proud sponsors of the Transform You Live show. They're doing some awesome things out there. Back over to Paul. So, yeah. So yeah. So bringing up now, switching gears and just thinking about what doing something for someone else truly does for us. How it just, and I'm quite sure that we didn't talk about this on a past episode. I know we have. It seems so familiar. um but when you go outside of yourself to do something for somebody else, it really, you would think that like it would like, cause you to feel bad, but actually what it does, you know it it helps your serotonin levels, and it does like, make you, it does humble you in a different way, because it allows you to enter into their world a little bit. There's so many different people that's in need of things. If we think about Haiti, what's going on in Haiti right now, they
Hmm.
had another massive earthquake that has occurred. There's ways to contribute there, and uh, there's even disastrous weather that just happening everywhere. So
Mm. No, you're right there, and even in Greece, I think there's lots of wildfires, and
yeah.
everything's just burning. And actually, when you're just talking about when you're helping people, I was listening to some guy in Greece saying that asked a reporter asked him why you're helping. He basically said, "We're all people. We just need to help each other." And I think that's quite powerful because when you just strip it down and and you see what everyone is, we are just people, and if people are in need, you need to help each other. So it's when you get down to the basics of it all, we should be helping each other.
That that's powerful right there. Like just the fact that like we should be helping each other, um, ins- instead of like waiting to be helped. It it's hard to get out of that mindset that like, okay, I'm going to be served. Somebody's going to give me something.
Mm,
Um, I think I think what the I think the biggest disservice that society has done. They have told people that, like, okay, you know, if simply if you know simply if you just grow up and be 18, that you can have the world. You know, you can have the world. You can have it all. Um, but they don't let you know that, like, hey, there's people who don't have those opportunities right now.
Mm.
You know,
And yeah, I think we just said there, when you're told you can have something, is that the right kind of phrase we should be using? If you're saying that you're told you can have this, you can have that, but if you think of people around the world who don't have that, that opportunity to even think like that, it is crazy.
yeah. And I know you used to work with kids. Used to coach kids, right, back here in the states.
Back in the day, yeah,
Yeah, back in the day.
yeah.
So, like, what did you ever have to have, like, conflict with, like, any kids that, like, that how did you handle conflicts with kids, like, because, like, there's a lot of lessons we learn from, like, like, really working with kids, and, like, you're really observing kids that still kind of translate over to, like, to adults, like, it's just what we learn is, like, adults are just, like, still children with bigger bigger tempers.
Yeah, true, true, true. And yeah, it's funny. When I used to coach soccer, or I should be calling it football now, coaching kids, and they would take everything so seriously. And I would always say, guys, this is not the World Cup final. This time next week, you're going to forget about this. So it's not even worth getting so worked up about it. And I think if we take that into the adult world as well, these small things which people get really worked up about, it's
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. It's not so important that someone's going to die. That it's just minute when you think of it.
Yeah, and that's what it is, like, temporary. Like, I'm glad you identify that too. Like, that's good advice. That's good advice. Is like, hey, you know what? We'll get them next week. And that's usually the general speech that, like, most coaches give. That's why you grow to love coaches. Like, man, my coach really cares. Like, my coach really believe in us. And I think we don't believe in ourselves enough, that we can, like, really, not just be the winner, in our own lives, but be the winner in someone else's life. To go outside of ourselves, and and realize, like, okay, like, what I got is temporary. I can't take this all with me when I die. Um, like, okay, like, yeah, I thumbed my finger and it hurt. It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt all the way into next week. I mean, if it does, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really got to see a doctor. But even then, most things heal. Most
Mhm.
things heal. Most things repair itself. Most things, like, most things you lose, you get it back. You know, um, and if you don't, like, you got to be okay with that. You know, and I think so many people in our lives, like, they just not okay with, like losing. They want to gain and win,
Mhm.
win, win. Because, like, we gotta win. but like but we forget that there's people that feel like they're not winning, every day. People who feel like they're not a winner every day. People who suffer with depression. I have suffered with depression. I have battled depression. And, like, you can like, endless days where you feel like you're not winning. So the only way that you can come out of that is if you just really start believing that, like, okay, you know I don't have to necessarily, like, be this huge winner in my own life. I can go outside of myself, and really start helping somebody else win, being a part of the bigger team of life.
I love that, and there's so many things to unpack there. Um, you got me thinking about coaching again, and
Yeah.
and I really do miss it. But
Yeah, you're a good coach, man. You just help me.
But it's just like thinking about, when you are able, as a coach, you are helping people. You're not,
Right.
you're not giving them like, money or anything like this. You're giving them skills, or you're giving them support, emotional support. And I think that's kind of what you just touched on there, that, if you're able to go out there and help someone, and it needn't be, donating, money or things like this. It could simply just be a helping hand somewhere, saying something nice to someone, or something as small as that can really make a huge difference. And as you said, if you're looking outside of yourself, suddenly if you're starting to do these things for other people, it's going to come back to you in a good way. These things, they tend to come around and really help you when in your hour of need as well.
Yeah, and since we on the topic of like team and sports, and 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 that and whatnot, I think what was really beneficial for for me growing up, and you can attest to this too, Paul. It's like and you've seen it in kids. It's like being a part of a team sport, um, and like because it really does show you the importance of of sharing, of interacting, communicating. It shows you how important it is to communicate. It shows you how important it is to not only like cheer for yourself but cheer on other people.
Mhm.
uh it encourage a lot of just those habits of every time that you do lose, that that like there's another chance to battle on. And if you lose all season, hey, you got next season. Go in, and while you waiting on next season, train. So these are really good things we learn, um, as we are part of a team. And and a lot of these skills was easily translated over into the military. And this is why I didn't really have so much it's like you had so much problem with the military. And so so we look at a player, like, I don't know if you heard about the NBA player Dennis Schroeder. A lot of people were like really putting this guy down, um about how he turned down $84 million for the Los Angeles Lakers, and just to um, settle for, like, I guess, I don't know if he's settling, but take $5.9 million. Um, so he took less the money to go play with the Boston Celtics. And so a lot of people it took him, but he seems very happy about it, because for him it seems like, okay, well, I'm still a part of the team, and now I'm going to find a way to still contribute. So what are your thoughts on that, Paul?
Yeah, I'm a big kind of proponent of sports, and when you're talking about that, I'm thinking to myself, it's not just when you're young. You can learn these lessons when you're older. There's nothing stopping anyone from joining a team now, or joining a group of people, or doing something active. It could be, it could be a really cool sport. It could just be, a sport down your local park or somewhere. But those types of things you do get from working together as a team, as a group of people. These lessons, and the joy you get out of working with people like this outside of a kind of a job setting is
Yeah.
is amazing. And yeah, I just wanted to say that it's never too late to join a kind of a club or a team and really get those benefits, which
Hmm.
as you said, you learn from at a young age, of how to that kind of resilience of being able to get back up and keep working hard, keep moving forward. Okay, oh, we lost, we can go again next week. Oh, we won, this is how we should celebrate winning. Let's think about the other team as well. So there's so many different kind of lessons you can learn from sports. And yeah, I think it's just one of those amazing things that when you are with a group of people, and you do achieve something. It could be like, it could be scoring 1 point, or it could be winning a championship. It doesn't matter. But you're going to get this amazing kind of experience from doing it.
Absolutely. And just to back that up, with like just what we've been talking about all throughout the episode, as we coming close here, it's just you know it's really hard to be selfish on a team. So
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I mean, you really gotta, you really stick out like a sore thumb
Hmm.
if you're not a team player, you're gonna stick out sorely. Oh man, it's awful. When you see someone not sharing the ball, and
Yeah,
they're not passing, so it's so yeah, so like so and what I could have learned is like, man, I did not like being on a team with someone who was like that, and so and I think you know when you taught those principles of team, importance of team, like you know, you start thinking to yourself like, well, I don't want to be around people like that, people who's not a team player, and there's so many people, unfortunately, who are not taking the time out to uh, to root on not only just themselves but other people, and to advance humanity. Humanity is at a breaking point right now, where we need something outside of ourselves, um, it's something that's not so materialistic, uh, uh, a value nature, to to push us ahead. We need each other, as you mentioned, Paul. You said it best. We do need each other, and but it's not going to come at the expense of um, what someone's worth, um, or what someone can do for you, or all these superficial things that just don't matter. So this is why it's important that, like, hey, you start feeling like you too much connected to to feeling like you self-absorbed, or or like your phone is distracting you, or whatever's distracting you from, like, being able to just see to the bigger parts of life. That's where you need to go outside of yourself and do something nice. So I'm already thinking about what I can do for Haiti right now. Thinking about some things to put together to do for Haiti myself. So, and I may do it publicly, I may do it privately. So but so I'm looking. I've been thinking about that. It's been very, very heavy on my heart today, and it's definitely going to move me to action. And I think that's when you should do something. That should be your call to do something when you feel like you know, like, hey, uh, I just don't care what I have right now. Like, like, I'm when you're just fed up with just the same old. That's when you need to go outside of yourself.
definitely. I love that as well. And it doesn't matter how small or how big, the thing you're going to do for someone else, or for other people. If you can look outside yourself, and I love that saying, kind of looking outside yourself. You're going to find you're going to find peace with yourself, and that kind of joy of knowing you help someone. And as you said, you don't have to do it publicly. You can just do it privately and just know yourself that you did it. So
Right.
definitely, yeah, I'm with you with that one. I love that, kind of looking outside of yourself and seeing what you can do around, it could be your local neighborhood, it could be, your state, it could be in a different country. So yeah, there's so many things out
Yeah.
there we can do to help other people.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of things we can do outside of that. Um, and I love it. I love that you emphasize it so much, Paul. The importance of knowing that, like, it does not have to be big or small. Um, these gift giving to others, this helping of others, they come in different sizes, and it doesn't have to cost you anything. We have seen, like, people, what they'll do paintings that, like, I mean, these incredible paintings, and gift them to people. I mean, or just they go avant-garde, freestyle something, and and, like, but it's just the thought that counts, like the thought that counts, the intention, or cleaning up somebody's yard, like, there's countless ways that we can just, be unique, and like, and really add in some charity to the world. Um, And we were talking about team earlier, and so on that conversation of team, let's talk about another sponsor before we head out of here. We want to talk about Buck Wild T-shirts. So Buck Wild T-shirts, if you haven't heard about them before, that that the Bucks are became the NBA world champions just in July, and I'm from Milwaukee, and I'm a homer. So what Buckwild T-shirts have done, Buckwild Designs, that is, they have done, they have came up with their own, way of rooting on Wisconsin teams, but they are taking it a step further. You can customize your own Buck Wild T-shirt, so real coming real soon on their website. But in the meanwhile, we're still celebrating the win of the NBA Finals champions, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks, my Milwaukee Bucks. We're going Buck Wild for the Bucks. So if you want to pick up one of those cool T-shirts, tell them that I sent you over to buckwildtshirts.com. You can be a part of the team in that way, shape, and fashion too. Or you simply just join a newsletter. By joining a newsletter, you're going to get a percent off on any purchase. So it's just simply by putting in your email on their newsletter. When you do that, you're going to get a coupon code to be a shop with them. The T-shirts are nice. They got hoodies, they got zip-ups, whatever you need. So we're going to bring Paul back in, after that short break.
Okay.
So with this conversation, Paul, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think the main points, kind of what we've spoken about today, is that if you are around that selfish person, it could be on a team, or it could be at work, it could be friends or family. Don't expel that kind of energy, that negative energy on them, to think, why are they so negative? Why are they so selfish all the time? Really look inside yourself and see what you can do to kind of improve yourself or help other people, because I think that's such a beautiful thing to be able to change that, the way we think about selfish people, because as we've spoken about, Marcus, we can't change people the way we want them to be. It's what makes life, but what we can change is ourselves and the way we see different things.
Yeah, I like that. Whew, you really put some heat on that, and that's a real good way to wrap it up. I really appreciate you, Dave, Paul, and our audience out there. We really appreciate you too. We got some directions on it at the bottom of here. If you watching, if you listening to the playback, the best way to get in touch with us is simply by following us on Instagram at Transform You Live Show. Of course, if you found us through listening to the podcast app and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and do hit that share button as well, and share it around the world. Share it with someone as that does help to further the message that you have heard today. And those who are watching, you can do the same thing. You can even hit the like button and drop a comment, because likes and comments, they are free. They cost you nothing. That you're not even paying for a subscription. So you can subscribe too, so that way you can catch many more future episodes in the past. And then the cool part about being part of the Transform You Live Show and being a transformer, you can binge all of our previous episodes. Me and Paul, we have given so much great content over the past couple of years, and we got more to bring you. Paul has done some solo episodes before, so it's a lot of cool solo episodes with Paul. So we need your support. We love bringing on new subscribers and new transformers. So you become our transformer, you become part of our family. And Paul's hanging out from the UK all the way from the other side of the world. Paul, any other plug you want to put in there? So I know you got your your Twitter. Anything else you want to put out there?
No, just as you just say, Marcus, just share our show. Please subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. There we go, at RunnerPaul81, and I'd love to kind of meet up with people on there. So all good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I almost forgot, North Bay Freight, they're hiring, by the way. So if you wanted to get behind a truck and travel from East Coast to the West Coast in the United States, unfortunately, I know, so I know we got a lot of UK listeners too. So, but if you wanted to travel from East Coast to West Coast in the United States, you make 100+K a year, they hiring truck drivers. So if you got your own truck and you want to, subcontract, that's a good opportunity for you as well. Or if you're shipping something, I don't know what you're shipping. Maybe you got a box full of Buck Wild t-shirts because you went on to buckwildtshirts.com and you said, oh, all this stuff is cool. I got a couple of relatives I want to send this to. A lot of family reunions coming up. A lot of things coming up. Or you maybe, I don't know, maybe you got kids all over the world. I don't know. So, but anyways, North Bay Freight will ship that stuff anywhere you wanted to go. So hit them up on Facebook at North Bay Freight, and on Instagram at North Bay Freight. And of course, don't forget to check us out at Transform You Live Show, or visit transformupodcast.com. That's transformupodcast.com. So until next time, I'm Marcus Hart. This is Paul Greaves, my good friend, my good brother. This way. Many blessings, peace, and lots of love. We are out.
Heard it here first.
You are now rocking with the hottest business and spirituality podcast show, the Transform You Live Show, hosted by Marcus Hart and Paul Greaves. This is the only place where you can get on your own personal transformation journey, drawn from personal stories, books, and much, much more. For more information, visit transformubroadcast.com. That's transform the letter U, broadcast.com. Only on the Transform You.
Or listen to the Transform You Live Show on any podcast app, on Roku,